unimpeded and peaceful give you the right to ownership of any established territory as such. Okay, and then they talk about international principles. International principles such as self-determination, which the UN has made it clear they are prepared to exercise for any territory and any people. They established this way back in 1946 when they decided that colonization was no longer a good thing. We know that colonization was never good from the beginning, but the UN accepted that it was wrong to ever have participated in colonization, and so from 1946 it told all colonial powers, you have to begin the process of giving all territories their freedom, their independence based on their principles of self-determination as such. That's why in 1980, when the United Nations voted overwhelmingly, as the Nectar said, 144 countries out of 145 voted for Belize's sovereignty, for Belize's independence, for Belize's territorial integrity as such. It was very, very clear that our principle of self-determination is one of the most universal. So everywhere that territorial disputes or territorial claims have arisen and have gone to the ICJ, every single one of these have first relied on treaty first. And so even when Nigeria went to the ICJ against Cameroon and said, we have occupied this territory for nearly 100 years, the ICJ said, yes, but show me your treaties. And that's where Nigeria failed, because the 1913 treaty made it clear between Nigeria and Germany at that point in time. The treaty said very clear that the borders between Nigeria and Cameroon were such defined that the Bakazi Peninsula fell into the territory of Cameroon. There's a treaty, people, 1913. And that's what the ICJ said. And they said, anything after that is irrelevant. So don't come to me and talk about occupation. Don't come to me and talk about post-1970, your agreements with indigenous people. Because Nigeria tried to use that. And they were told clearly, all of that is irrelevant because there's a treaty that clearly lays down the borders between Nigeria and Cameroon. There's a treaty that clearly lays down the borders where Guatemala accepts that the territory north and east of the Sarstoon, from Gracias a Dios to Garbos Falls, and from Garbos Falls to the Mexican frontier, belongs to Her Britannic Majesty. Twice Guatemala signed those treaties as such, and they ratified in their Congress. Pedro de Aycinena convinced their Congress that there was no foundation for any Guatemalan claim. Guatemalan claim back then, Guatemalan claim today is still an unfounded claim. Asking them to bring any and all legal claims is setting a bar that Guatemala cannot meet, because there is no legal, there's nothing in law, in international law, that they can use to establish any claim. They don't have they don't have treaty, they don't have occupation, they don't have self-determination. That's why in 1999, when the Mayas took the government to court, Guatemala tried to argue that the Mayas didn't want to be Belizeans anymore. And the Mayas in 2000 traveled all the way to Belize City. Buses and buses of Maya from Toledo traveled to Belize City and said, we are taking our government to court for ownership over the communities we have held for hundreds of years. But when it comes to nationality, and every single one of those Mayas raised their Belizean passport, and made it clear, this is our nationality, and this is the only nationality we are interested in. We are never and will never want to be part of Guatemala. They have seen what Guatemala does to their brothers and sisters. The civil war in Guatemala saw the death of hundreds of thousands of Mayas, taken out of their homes and wiped out complete villages. And that's why there's a president or an ex-president in Guatemala who is still yet waiting for his day in court, because he gave the orders for villages to be wiped out. He's in jail for corruption, but he has yet to face his day for the atrocities and the crimes he committed against the Mayas of the Petén area. So no Maya is interested. Even the Guatemalan refugees who came over here, none of them is interested in Guatemala ever getting an opportunity to exercise anything here. They are the ones who more vehemently, when we interview them, and my students at UB have been all down Arenal to Halacte interviewing these communities, right? And asking them, what is your position? And their position is never allow Guatemala a chance of being able to get any part of this territory here, because they will do the same thing they did to us over there, they will do it to us over here as such, right? So very, very clear, there is the principle of self-determination in this country is overwhelming. I don't think you can find anybody in Belize who would say, yes, I want to be Guatemalan. You won't find anybody. Please, that video of that young lady in Santa Elena, Toledo is an aberration. It's not the reality of the immigrants who came over and such, right? So it is very, very clear that our ownership of this territory is cemented in history, is cemented by every principle of international law as such. And so I have no fear. Belizeans are asked to go vote yes or no. Whether you vote yes or whether you vote no, I have no fear of the outcome of that vote as such. And I am ready to take that to the international court as such. Right? And my patriotism to this country cannot be questioned. I have gone away to study 3 times. I've been offered lucrative jobs over there 3 times, and have refused to stay out of my country those 3 times. And I've opted to return to make a difference here. I've been part of the educational system of this country for over 28 years, and at UB for 20 years, and I'm not going to go anywhere as such. Okay? Thank you very much.